Back in March of this year, a Delaware man by the name of Jonathan Grossman was, looking out for his fellow man, okay? He decided to stand on the side of the road holding a homemade sign to essentially warn drivers of an upcoming speed trap. What an American hero. Well, as you can imagine, the police were not too pleased with that. So 2 policemen tried to get him to leave, and that began a pretty wild confrontation that ended with the cops trying to pin a bogus charge on Grossman for the crime of flipping them off. So Grossman is now suing the cops for manufacturing a crime against him. Let's take a look at the evidence and suss this out, figure out what really happened here. So thanks to the police body cam footage and Grossman's own phone recording, we do have some evidence, video evidence of what occurred. So let's start from the beginning. Grossman claimed in an interview that he was parked legally on the side of the road and was not obstructing traffic when he was approached by Corporal Stephen Douglas and Officer Nicholas Gallo. Those are the 2 cops in question, right? Now, we don't have any evidence proving that he was parked legally on the side of the road. I just want to admit, full disclosure, what we do have evidence of, what we don't have evidence of, but that's a pretty small part of the story. What we do have is video of what happened next. Let's watch.
I am engaged in a First Amendment activity that is protected by.
Take the sign if
you were not.
Listen,
you were not taking my property.
Listen to me. If you put it.
Are you detaining me? What are you detaining me for?
What?
What are you
You're
detaining?
Disrupting traffic.
I'm not disrupting anything. I am engaged in a First Amendment.
You're jumping into
I am not. You're a liar.
It's unsafe.
You are a liar. I have never been in traffic. Never. So you can shut that up. I'm on the side of the road, legally parked, with a sign which is protected by the First Amendment. So you can. I'm disrupting nothing. I'm gonna do it right here where I'm at. So I'm not.
I have drivers coming up to me telling me that you're jumping out in traffic.
Because apparently they're erroneous. I don't give a what somebody else says. What did you witness? Nothing of the sort. So keep your to yourself, pal.
Okay, so let me clarify. This happened in March of last year, not March of this year. So this happened last year. The reason why the story is coming up again now is because of the lawsuit. Now, as you can see, the cops are accusing Grossman of disrupting traffic without any evidence of him doing so. Him standing on the side of the road with a sign isn't enough to argue that he's disrupting traffic, right? Are you gonna argue that street signs are disrupting traffic? Because the whole argument here was that people were slowing down to read the sign. But again, they've failed to provide any evidence that traffic was disrupted, that it was causing any problems. I think they just didn't like the fact, this is my opinion, that Grossman was alerting other drivers of an upcoming speed trap, which also, in my opinion, is one of the laziest ways of policing imaginable. Just sitting in your patrol car or standing outside of your patrol car with your radar gun to catch people going a little faster than they should be. I'm not saying that people should speed, but among all the various police tactics that take place, that one is the laziest, if you ask me. But anyway, moving on. A few minutes later, the cops switch up their argument and accuse Grossman of disrupting traffic because the sign is making people slow down. Grossman retorts by saying that if you go by that logic, cops are disrupting traffic whenever they pull people over, which is kind of true. There are a lot of looky-loos. People do slow down to see what's going on when a cop pulls someone over. But nonetheless, eventually they just take his sign, and we have video evidence of that.
Put your hands on me. You see what this did? You see what he did? Don't put your hands on me. Do not. Give me my property back. You piece of. Give me my property back. You see this? You tyrant piece of. You tyrant. What are your badge numbers?
Step back, okay?
No,
don't walk up
no, you stole my property.
Did you see anything in my hands?
You
stole your property. Have a nice day.
All right, so Grossman obviously furious about the fact that they took his sign. Now after that, he gets in his car, does a U-turn, and that's when he flips the bird, right? He flips off the police officers and then he immediately gets pulled over. We do not have video of him sticking his middle finger up at the cops. But we do have video of what happens after that. Let's take a look.
The reason I stopped you is you had your hand out the window with
So what?
finger.
So what? It's constitutionally protected speech.
Is the reason why you're doing that? Is the reason why you're doing that?
You're stopping me for constitutionally protected speech, right?
Because you had your hand out the window.
This is what I did. You got a problem with that?
Sir, listen to me. Listen to
No,
me.
no, no.
All right, listen.
Go
That's
away.
called disorderly conduct.
No, it is not.
That is disorderly
That
conduct.
is called
If you were doing it out
freedom
in the
of
pub-
speech.
If you were out in the public, you are out in the public and people see you.
No, it is
Can I get
not.
your license,
Here's
please?
what's going to happen.
No.
License, please.
No.
Here's what's going to happen.
I want your supervisor, please.
I am the supervisor.
License,
So
please.
but before we go any farther, you're pulling me over for what?
Because
For
you had
disorderly conduct.
Because you had your finger out the
Disorderly
window.
conduct
Now,
what?
here's what's about to happen. You're about to be arrested again for resisting arrest.
No, I'm not resisting
Yes,
anything.
well, yeah. Right
No.
now you're being detained.
For
okay?
what?
You're being
I
detained.
told you
for,
why I stopped you already, sir.
For putting my middle finger up. That's
Yeah,
correct?
no,
correct.
no. Exactly.
Correct.
Right.
You extended your arm out the
No,
window.
no, I had my
Yes,
middle
you
finger
did.
out the window.
Okay. We're going to take you in. We're going to tow the car, and we'll call social services for the kid.
Oh, so
and
now
the
you're
dog.
threatening. Now you're threatening my
No,
child.
it's not
No,
a
he's telling
threat.
what's
It's
gonna
a
happen.
promise.
It's just incredible. All right, I have a lot more detail to get into. But David, I wanna go to you for some comment here, right? Because look, I don't think you should be cussing out the cops, right? But at the same time, it is protected speech and there is legal precedent indicating that it's protected speech. Like the fact that the cops didn't just let it, who cares? He flipped you off. Just move on with your life. Like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, so we did this on Rebel HQ actually not that long ago. And one of the things that I found so interesting about all of this is that this man, Mr. Grossman, actually had his, I believe it was a teenage son who was with them and the dog. You heard their dog bark. So all of this was happening right in front of the kid who was getting a lesson about the First Amendment and police ignorance. Because the fact of the matter is, the law is that if you are standing on a public easement or a sidewalk along a roadway, you can hold whatever sign you want. You can gesture however you want. What the cops did here is they said, well, this is they used essentially a law that governs bicycle signals in order to sort of say that he had done something wrong. That got thrown out, and there's a recording where the police officers acknowledged that they were essentially creating something bogus just to cause problems. Any one of us has a First Amendment right, according to the Constitution and settled case law, to tell the cops whatever we want, to flip them off. We can't threaten them physically, say, I'm gonna beat the, but you can say, F you can ask them to do something anatomically impossible. That is protected speech. And if a police officer can't handle that and responds because they're so thin-skinned by coming up with some ridiculous, absurd charge, that person should not be a police officer.
I totally agree with you. I mean, when Grossman flips the bird and then he gets pulled over, I can't help but notice how the officer is struggling to even explain why he got pulled over to begin with. Like, he knows he's in the wrong in pulling Grossman over to begin with. And by the way, according to Grossman's lawsuit, because he's now suing the police, he is not cited for disorderly conduct, but instead receives a traffic violation for an improper hand signal under the law that governs hand signals typically used by non-motorized vehicles or bicycles, right? The traffic charge was ultimately dismissed according to court records. But we should also hear what the cops had to say about this incident, right? Let's give them a shot to explain themselves. So the first body cam clip we'll play is right when cops pulled over Grossman for flipping them off. Let's take a quick look at that.
Yo, what's up, man? Hey, what you got? He stuck his middle finger out of the road, out of the window. Oh, okay. What's that? What's that? We could lock him up for disorderly conduct. He probably won't go anywhere. Nah, what's isn't it like a improper hand signal or something? Charge? No, I mean like if you stick your feet, I'm telling you, if you put your arm out the road, your hand out the road, and you're like with a middle finger, you could. That's like a, isn't that? I'm pretty sure. You sure about that?
Oh my God. Imagine living in a society where those who are tasked with enforcing the laws don't even know what the laws are. Like, incredible. I wanna go to one more video here though, because I want you to listen to what happens after the confrontation. So you have Master Corporal Rayford Box, the cop who said, I'm the supervisor. he's caught having this even more revealing conversation on his body cam. Without further ado, let's take a look at that.
And gave the finger as he was driving away. Dougie pulled him over and then wrote him for hand gestures. So wrote him a citation for hand gestures. So I lost you for a second. He pulled him over and wrote him for what? A hand gesture, like the hand gesture. I said, that's pushing it. Like you. You can't. I mean, he pulled him over for it, like giving him the middle finger. Yeah, for giving him middle finger. So yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, that'll get dropped. Yeah, it's gonna get thrown. I told him that's gonna get thrown out, but it's just going, it's gonna cause the problem. I was gonna give him back the sign, but the guy already ripped the sign up. So, because I went and talked to him, and obviously he didn't want to hear anything I had to say by that time, Yeah, we need to look at something more that applies, like maybe something stupid, like parked in the roadway. Right. Something like that that'll apply. Unfortunately, I mean, you can't. We can't pull people over. We can't write them tickets for telling us to fuck off or giving us the middle finger and stuff like that. That's their right to do so.
They know that this is gonna get dropped. The case did get dropped. Just so incredibly stupid to act out of hurt feelings when you are literally a police officer, a heavily armed police officer. What are you doing? Why are they doing this? It's just so dumb. And this is the kind of incompetence that leads to the distrust that people experience or feel toward policing in the country. And policing is important. It is, especially in the middle of a crime wave in some of these big cities, right? But if the public doesn't feel that they can trust the authorities, they're not gonna call the authorities for help. And I hate seeing this play out over and over again. It's so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of police departments don't exactly attract the best and the brightest.
Certainly
there seems
not.
to be a militarization of the police where you get a lot of very, tough guys who want to sort of assert their control. Here's something to remember though, and that is police are entitled, if you are not in a car, suppose you're just on the side of the road and you do give them the finger, the police can stop. They can say, hey, do you need something from us? Where you're asking, waving for help. But they cannot demand, they cannot force you to provide identification. They cannot detain you unless they have reasonable, articulable suspicion that you have committed a crime, you are committing a crime, or you're going to commit a crime. In this case, waving your middle finger, holding a sign is none of those, so the police could not detain him. The moment he said, I want to leave, you have to leave me alone, they should have done that. Once he gets in his car, the rules change a little bit. Police can stop him if they suspect some sort of traffic violation. But the police, and then I suppose the police can ask for ID if they think that you've got a taillight missing or you improperly signal. However, the police cannot charge you with obstructing a police officer unless there is a legitimate underlying crime, unless there's a legal detention. By all accounts, this was not a legal detention when he was outside of the car. It was not a legal detention when he was inside the car. I have a feeling that the Delaware police, state police, if they're smart, they will settle this lawsuit and try to make it go away because this is gonna cost them.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.